This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, in the last class, let me open the last example. This is the example you have seen where we have done the data migration and we kept that file. We kept that file on the application server. Please mute your speakers, Chinna. Chinna, please mute your speakers. Right. So in the last class, we kept the file on the application server and we have read that file and we have done the data migration by using what session technique. Now what I'll do is, this is my requirement. There is an Excel file. There is an Excel file in my local system. What is that file? 8a, what is the file name? Assume that the file name is 8amcus.xls. It's an Excel file. If I double click on this file, this is the data available. Okay, so what is this data? Customer data is available, and assume this is customer number, this is customer country, and this is customer name. So what I want is, I want to read the data from what Excel file, where is this file is available on the local system, and I want to do the data migration using what call transaction. Okay, in the call transaction, we understood that there is no log generated, whereas in case of session technique, the log is auto generated. The log is auto generated. So here my requirement is, I want to do the data migration using call transaction and I want to generate the log. Okay, I want to generate the log. So in case of call transaction, we have to generate the log manually. Okay, so let's see how to do it. So what is the path of the file? In D drive, file name is 8amcust.xls, right? So I want to do it by using call transaction. So first of all, you have to read the data. So let's see how to read the data from our Excel file. So data migration from where? From Excel to SAP using what? Call transaction and generating what? Log. And I also want to generate what? Log. Program is executable program. Done. I'll save it in the local objects. The first step you have to do is read data from what local Excel file to what internal table. So what I have to do is, if it is a text file, we would have used what function model? GUI underscore what upload, GUI underscore upload. Now since it is an Excel file, I'll go for a function model called as text underscore convert underscore xls underscore to underscore what sap, text underscore convert underscore xls to sap. If you are reading the data from text file, we have to use a function model what gui underscore what upload. If it is an Excel file, use the function model text convert xls to sap. So if you see the signature, so function model means just we need to know the signature and call it. So if you see the signature here, what is the signature? There are two mandatory parameters. One second, please. Okay. So, what are the two mandatory parameters here? There are two mandatory parameters. One is I underscore tab underscore raw underscore data. Sorry, there is a problem from my end. Yeah. So there are two mandatory parameters. One is what? Trucks. One is of type what? Trucks underscore t underscore text underscore data. By looking at this parameter, I don't understand what is this. Okay. Let me double click on this. I'll double click on this. Yeah, what is this structure underscore t underscore text data type C occurs what? Zero. Occurs is nothing but what? Internal table. Na? So I can call this parameter as what? Internal table. So I need to declare this internal table. Fine. And there is another parameter which is expected in the file name, which is a what type RL graph hyphen file name. RL graph is a structure. RL graph is a structure which has got a field what? File name, which has got a field file name which is of what type, character of what, 128. Done. And what does it do? Yeah, it returns me the internal table. Okay, tables mean nothing but what, internal. It is returning the internal table. So what I'll do first is I'll declare one internal table to receive the data. So I'll say types begin of ty underscore kna1. Okay, I'll take the fields customer number type of kn1 hyphen customer number. Then why I'm declare, actually it is saying that it is returning the internal table. Okay, but what is the type of internal table? We need to understand that. I know that in my Excel I'm having how many columns? Three columns. Since I'm having three columns, okay, I'll declare three columns in my this name one type kn1 hyphen what, name one. Then I'll say end of what, ty underscore kn1. Then I'll say data t underscore kn1 type table of ty underscore kn1. I'll declare the work area also w underscore ty type ty underscore kn1. What is the other mandatory parameter here? There is a mandatory parameter of type what, t underscore text underscore data. We don't know what is this, but let us declare it. Data t underscore trucks, t underscore trucks type what, so and so. Done. Then I require what, one variable which is also mandatory of type what, rl graph hyphen file name. So rl graph hyphen file name, directly I'll give the path. What is the path value in D drive? What is the file name? 8am cust.xls, 8am cust.xls. Once again I'll show that in D drive. What is the file name? 8am cust.xls. It's an Excel sheet. This is the data available with three columns. Okay, done. So we are trying to read the data from Excel file. Done. So how do you read it? What is the function model I told? Text underscore convert underscore XLS to what? SAP. So I'll just call that function model text underscore convert underscore XLS to what? SAP. Done. Done, done, done. What is the internal table? T underscore trucks. Done. File name. What is that? V underscore file name. Internal table. Where you want to receive it? T underscore K1. Done. I just want to debug and check whether I'm getting the data or not. So instead of using GUI upload, I'm using a function model what, text underscore convert underscore XLS to what, SAP. Okay, so I want to check. I want to check whether the data is received into our internal table or not. So I'll put the breakpoint here, F8. Done. So if you see here, t underscore k as of now what, initial. I'm calling the function model. Done. I'll say F6. Hello. What is the file name? D drive 8am cus.xls. Done. I got how many entries? 4 entries. See the content? Good. I got the data. So now onwards, remember what is the function model we use? Text underscore convert underscore XLS to SAP. So calling a function model means you have to check the signature, check the mandatory parameters and pass it. There are two mandatory parameters. One parameter is the internal table of type so and so. Okay, what is this? We don't know. If I double click on this, I understood that it is a internal table declared in the type group what, trucks. So I also declared a variable of what, same type. I also declare variable of same type. If you are doing it in the older versions, you may get an error saying that this is unknown. So already we know if you are using the components of the type group, we should declare the type group. How to declare the type group? If it is getting an error, we have to say what? Type pools. What is the type group name? Trucks. Then it will recognize. But here, not required. Okay, this is very much required till what? ECC 6.0. This is EHP version. So explicitly I need not declare. Done. So I got the data into my internal table. Hope it's clear to everyone so far. Any questions? Please ask me. Done. So I got the data into this one. What is the next step now in call transaction? If T underscore KN1 is not initial, right? If it is not initial, what you have to do? You have to map the final data to what? BDC data internal table. We need to map it to what? BDC data internal table. So let me declare it. I'll declare it somewhere here. Data what? T underscore BDC data type table of. What is the structure of BDC data? BDC data. Then I'll declare work area. BDC data type. BDC data. The rest thing is same what you have done earlier. Let me open the diagram of call transaction. We already discussed it. Yeah, if you see the call transaction, we got the data into internal table. From internal table, you have to map it to BDC data, na? But before mapping, what you have to do, we should keep the transaction ready. I believe already we are having the transaction. Na? My file is having what data? Customer data. With how many columns? 3 columns. So what I require? I require a module pull program which contains a screen with what? 3 fields. I think already we have designed it. So if I go to Object Navigator, whatever you have designed in the last 2 classes, same module pull program I can use. So if I go to Object Navigator, okay, here under Programs, this is the program Z7M BDC MPP. It has got one screen, and this screen contains what? A layout with how many fields? 3 fields. Same thing, it's the same data, so I can use the same program. Yeah, what is this? KNA1 hyphen Kunnar, KNA1 hyphen land1, KNA1 hyphen what? Name1. Right? So same program I can as it is use in my executable program. So what is the logic? Same logic. Loop at T underscore KNA1 into W underscore KNA1, then end loop. Yeah, here I'll say what? First you have to call what? You have to call one subroutine to map what? Program. Already we have discussed in the last 2 classes, same logic. Using what is my module pool program name? I have to pass my module pool program name and screen number. So using what? Using 7am BDC MPP and screen number is what? 100. Done. Okay, I need to define the subroutine. So form what? Map program info using I'll take some 2 parameters, program name and what? Screen number, end form. Okay, so what I have to do here, refresh your BDC data internal table. First assign it to work area. From work area we have to append it to what? Internal table. What are the fields in this? We have 5 fields. Program, so I'm mapping the program name. Then what else? Dyne Pro, nothing but the screen number. Then dine begin indicates occurrence of new screen. Dine begin equal to what? X. So this subroutine should map the program information. W underscore BDC data to what? T underscore what? BDC data. T underscore BDC data. Done. Then I need to call another subroutine for mapping the fields information. So I'll say map field info. Any name you can give. I am giving a meaningful name using what is the name of the first field in the screen? KN1 hyphen Kunnar. Where is the value available? We are in the loop only now. Each record will come to what? work area. So this is W underscore KN1 hyphen Kunnar. Done. Let us define this map what? Field info using, I'll take some two formal parameters, F name and what? F value, and then also what? End form. Done. Then same logic. I'll clear the work area. Then work area hyphen. What is the fourth field in this BDC data? F name equal to what? Field name. Then W underscore what? BDC data hyphen F val equal to what? F value. Then I'll say append W underscore BDC data to what? T underscore BDC data. So I'm appending the internal table. Done. Repeat this process for each field. Now. So done, done, done. What are the field names? KN1 hyphen land one. This field name you have to give in uppercase. Okay, so name one done. Done. It is mapped. So I mapped the program information, I mapped the individual fields information. Then what I have to do once it is mapped, you have to call the transaction. Already we know the syntax of call transaction. What is the syntax? Call transaction. Yeah, what is the T code for this particular module program? What is the T code? ZBDC is a T code. So I'll say Z what? BDC using what? BDC data internal table. What is the BDC data internal table? T underscore BDC data. So I'm using the same syntax call transaction T code using BDC data internal table. That's it. Everything is fine. Let me save it. Check for the syntax error. Done. Let me open the table once. Okay, so this is my KNM table, which has got some records. 9,167. So let me execute. Good. I got the first record. What is the error I got? Field KN1F and land one input value is longer than the screen field. Okay, it is not mapped. Name one is also not mapped. Huh? What is the file name? Name is so and so, but I didn't got it. What is the issue here? It is not mapped properly. So I'll say cancel. This is a second record. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Where Raghavendra? Where I have not assigned? Sorry, boss. Sorry. Yeah, here. I have not changed the field names, right? So name one, done. So let me save it, check it, activate. That's the problem. I have not changed my work area field name. I have changed the screen field name, but not the data. Right? So let me execute. Hello. Good. I got the first record. I got the first record. Okay. So if you want, you can change it. I'll change it to something 300. I'll say insert. Entry A does not exist. So this is an invalid entry. I can make the correction or you can say what? Cancel. I got the second record. Let me give it as something 301. I'll click on insert. I got the message record affected. I got the next record. Okay. I'll give it as something 302. What record affected? Done. I think I'm having some 4 records. Entry AB does not. This is also not available. Okay. So I'll just correct it. I'll make it as India insert record affected. Done. So all the records are migrated, but I didn't got any log here. I didn't got any log. So what is my agenda now? I want to generate the log so that I can use that log for what? Analysis purpose. I want to use that log for what? Analysis purpose. So any questions before I do that? Any questions so far? Please ask me. Okay. So let us see how to generate the log in call transaction. This technique we call it as what? Error handling in call transaction. Error handling is nothing but what? Generating the log. So see the change I'll do. SAP has given one structure, just like we have BDC data, we have something BDC MSG call. This is another structure given by SAP, which is used for what? Collecting the message in what SAP system. So based on this structure, I'll create one internal table. So see the change here. I'll create one internal table. Type table of what? BDC MSG call. Done. I'll create a work area. Done. So I declared an internal table and what? Work area. Fine. Save it, check it, no errors. Done. So see the change I'll do. So what is my requirement here? I want to generate the log. And what I want is, whatever the log I capture, I want to capture in a file format. I want to capture in a file format. And where you want to create that file, I can create that file. I can create that file I want to create that file on the application server. So in the last example, we have seen how to read the data from application server file. Now what I want to write the data to what? Application server file. So let me create a file on what? Application server. So for that, what I'll do is see the technique. Types begin of ty underscore log. Okay, I'll take some two fields, record number type I, type n, alphanumeric, and I'll take another this thing message type what, string, and I'll say what, end of what, ty underscore log. So I'll tell you what is the purpose of this data t underscore log, type table of what, ty underscore log, then I'll say w underscore log type ty underscore log. So I declared an internal with how many fields? Two fields. Record number type alphanumeric and a message type what? String. Done, done, done. Yeah, see the change here. This is a syntax which we already know. Now I'll say call transaction T code using BDC data internal table. Here you have to use addition messages into what is the internal table. It just to declare T underscore BDC MSG call. T underscore BDC MSG call. Understood? So this is another addition I can use as part of our call transaction. Call transaction so and so using BDC data internal table message into what BDC MSG call internal table. Okay, done. So what I can do with this internal table is here. I'll say if T underscore BDC MSG call T underscore BDC MSG call is not initial, if it is not initial, I will loop at T underscore BDC MSG call into W underscore BDC MSG call end loop. Okay, so what I am doing here while calling the transaction, I am using the addition what? Messages into so and so. So what this internal table will contain is, it contains all the message IDs. It contains all the message IDs. Message IDs. Okay, it will contain all the message IDs. So by using this message IDs, I can collect the message. So what I'll do now, inside this loop and loop, I will call one function module. We have a function model. We have many function models. We can use many function models here. One of the function model is format underscore message. I'll explain that. Format underscore message. What does it do? It takes this all are what? Optional. If you want, we can pass this. It takes all these parameters and returns what? A message. Returns what? A message. Returns a message. So what I'll do is just observe. Yeah, clear w underscore log, try to understand. I'll call the function model format underscore message. It takes all these parameters. So let me try to pass. Exporting id is equal to id. Id is what type here? Id is what type? It is of type sy msg id. We are in the loop of what? Msg call. Na? What are the fields in msg call? Do any message id field here? Yes, we have field what? Msg id. I'll try to pass this message id. So here I'll say we are in the loop only. So I'll say w underscore bdc msg call hyphen what? Message id. Done. Then language. Okay, I'll give the language as si language. Okay, I'll give Sai language. Done. Then number, message number. Do any field for message number? Yes, we have field what? Message number, MSGNR. So I'll pass that MSGNR. W underscore what? BDC what? MSG call hyphen what? Message number. Then V1 to V4. V1 to V4. Do any fields like that? Yes. Message variable part of a message. V1, V2, V3, V4. MSG V1 to MSG V4. So here I'll say W underscore BDC MSG call hyphen MSG V1 MSG V2 MSG V3 MSG V4. So I'm passing the message numbers and message IDs, importing. It returns me the message. It returns me the message. That message I'll receive inside W underscore log. This W underscore log has got how many fields? Two fields. Record number type in and message type string. So here I'll say where you are. Yeah. W underscore what? Log hyphen what? MSG. Done. Then I'll say there is another field in this na w underscore log hyphen. What is that field? What is that field here? Record number of type what? N. I took it as alphanumeric. Okay. Hyphen record number equal to site abix. What is this site abix will contain? It contains the index position in the internal table. Now we are in the loop. Okay, in the loop and loop, how do you refer where the iteration is there? By referring to a system field called as what? Sci tabix. Done. Then here I'll say append w underscore log to internal table t underscore log. Done. Let me just close this. That's it. Save it, check it. Done. No errors. Done. So I'll just repeat this. What is the only change I've done here? While calling the transaction, I'm using the addition what? Messages into. This internal table should be what type? It should be a what type? BDC MSG call. So I specified that. So what happens is when you're doing the data migration, on the screen we'll get what? On the screen we'll get what? Different messages. Okay. What is that? Some automatic field validation message, some flow logic validation message, or our own message. So for those messages, you will have the message IDs and message numbers. Those message IDs and message numbers are collected into this particular internal table. So what I have to do, I need to loop that internal table. Okay. In order to get the message based on that message IDs, we need to call the function model what? Format underscore message. What that function model will do, it takes those message IDs and message numbers as input and returns the corresponding message. Okay, that message I'm appending it to my own internal table, which has got two fields. Record number means I want to check which message is related to which record number. That's why I'm doing it. Done. Then what I'll do here, if t underscore log is what? Not initial. What I'll do now, write the log, to the local system text file. Okay, how do you write? We use GUI upload for reading, we use GUI download for writing. Okay, exporting file name, I'll give the file name as what? D drive 7am log.txt. Done. File type, yeah, file type is ASCII by default. Done, not required. Then append. Okay, append means what? If the file is already existing, it will append the data. Right field separator, yes, I'll set it to X so that you'll get what? Tab delimiter. You'll get the tab delimiter. And these are all nothing. You have to pass the internal table. Where is the internal table here? Yeah, what is the internal table? T underscore what? Log. Done. Just close this. That's it. Okay, save it, check it, no errors, done. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to write the data of this internal table to the local file. What is the file name? D drive 7am log.txt. Do we have that file? No, I don't have any file called as what 7am log.txt. Okay, so I repeat once again. While doing the data migration using call transaction, I'm using the addition what messages into BDC MSG call internal table. So what this internal table will do, it will collect all the message IDs for the messages flashed on the screen during data migration. So in order to collect that message, what you have to do, we need to loop the internal table. As part of that loop, you have to call a function model what? Format underscore message, which takes the message IDs and input and returns the corresponding message that I am receiving in my work area, and then from work area I'm appending it to my internal table. When I'm appending to my internal table, I am appending the record number also. So record number equal to what? Psi tab x. When you are in the loop, for each iteration, psi tab x will increment by what? 1. So that's all. Done, 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 done. That's it. That's it. If t underscore log is not initial, I'm writing that into file. So let me check it now. Okay, execute this. Hello. Done. This is my first record. I'll give it as something 10 a.m. CST 20. I'll click on insert. Achha, entry A does not exist. I'll just cancel this. I'll give this as something 10 a.m. so and so. In record affected. Done. This also I'll give it as something 10 a.m. so and so. Record affected. Done. Insert entry AB does not exist. I'll change it to something AR and I'll give the country as customer as something 10 a.m. I'll click on insert, record affected, done. Good. The system is trying to create the file in the D drive. What is that file? 7am log.txt. Hello? Yes. How many bytes it has transferred something? Let me go back and check here. Refresh. Yeah, I can see there is a file called as what 7am log.txt. If I double click on this, good, 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 good. Yeah, I got it. What is that? Formatting error in the field so and so entry A does not exist. Record affected. Formatting error in the field entry AB does not exist. Record affected. Done. So I'm able to capture my log. I'm able to capture my log. Understood? So what you're trying to understand? How to do the error handling in call transaction. Error handling in call transaction means we need to generate the log. How do we generate the log? While using that call transaction statement, you have to use addition what? Message into so and so. This internal table always takes what? This internal will always create based on what? BDC MSG call. Okay, so we need to loop that internal table. As part of that loop and loop, we have to call a function model what? Format underscore message, format underscore message, which will take the message IDs as input and returns the corresponding message. I am appending that messages to my internal table. Okay, so this internal table will contain what? All the log. This log I can write it to my local system file by using the function model what GUI download, or I can write it to what application server file. We'll see that now. Any questions in this part? Please ask me. When I discuss first example on call transaction, I have not used this option, so it is optional. Now I'm using it because I want to capture the log. So in case of session, automatically the log is generated, but whereas in case of call transaction, we must use addition so and so, so it will collect all the message IDs. To get the messages based on the message IDs, inside that loop, you have to call the function model format underscore message. So once the log is collected to the internal table, that internal table data I can write into local file or local system, or I can write into application server file. Done. So let me Here only I'll say I want to write the log to what? My application server file. So write the log to the application server file. So what I'll do, I'll declare one variable v underscore path, type what? String value. What is the path? In my case, 192.168.10.10.101 slash C drive. I'll give the file name as what? 7:30 am log.txt. I'm giving a different name. 7:30 am log.txt. Then what I did, I had to open the file. Open dataset path. In the last class, I opened for reading. So for input. Now also what? For output. For output in text mode. In text mode. Encoding default. Then here I have to use addition message v underscore msg. Let me declare this v underscore msg also. V underscore msg. What? Type what? String. Type string. Done. Yeah. If the file is successfully created for writing purpose, I'll say if size of bars is equal to 0. Okay. I'm opening the file. What is that file? 7:30 am log.txt. Once again, let me check my IP address. Yeah, 192.168.10. What? 101 is my IP address. 10 done. C drive 7. Let me try to open that first. How do you open the application server from my system? I'll go to the run command. I'll give the run command. Right. So in the run command, done. I'll give this 192 slash 192.160.10.101 slash C. I'll say okay. Yeah, it is asking for my credentials. Credentials of my server machine. I give the credentials. Yeah. See here, this is my C drive of my server. I don't have any file called as 7:30 am log.txt. I don't have the file in C drive as of now. So let me try to create. So if size of r is equal to 0, what I'll do, I will say loop at t underscore log into what? W underscore log. Done. And I'll say what? Transfer transfer w underscore log to v underscore path. Done. Okay. If yeah, that's all. Transfer so and so, and then here also what? Close the file. Close what? Data set. Close data set. Close data set. What is the variable? V underscore what? Path. That's all. Let me save it. Check for the syntax. Oh ho ho. W underscore log cannot be a table or reference nor connected with reference string. Okay. That is not allowing me. Yeah. Okay. So what I'll do is if size of bar is equal to 0, else I'll say write v underscore msg. If any problem is there in the creating the file, that operating system message will come and sit here. If size of bar is equal to 0, okay. Yeah, here I'll say clear what? V underscore msg. I'll say concatenate w underscore log hyphen record number and w underscore log hyphen what? Msg to what? V underscore msg separated by into v underscore msg separated by what? Space. I'll separate by space. Then I'll say transfer v underscore msg to v underscore path. Save it. Check it. Okay, done. Why I got that error? Incorrect nesting. and if one more and if, because this one, okay, right? Save it, check it, no errors, done. So just simple logic here. See, this anyhow we understood how to write the log to the local system text file by using a function module what geo underscore download. How do you write it to the application server file? First you have to open the file in which mode? Output mode. Okay, when do we go for output mode? Whenever you want to write the data to the file. So as of now, this file is not available now. If you see here, I don't have any file with the name what? 7:30 a.m. log.txt. I don't have that file. So we are trying to open a non-existing file in which mode? Output mode. So what happens? It will create that file. If any problem is there in creating that file, that message will come and sit in what? This particular operating system message will come and sit in this particular variable. So if you're unable to open that file, I'm just printing that message. Otherwise, where is my log available? In the log internal table now? I'm looping that log internal table, and this log internal table contains two fields, record number and message. So concatenate those two things into a string variable. This is what we will string variable separated by what? Space. Then I'm transfer. How do you write the data to the application server file? Transfer. In the last class we have seen how to read the data from application server file by using what? Read data set statement. To write the data into the file we use what statement? Transfer statement. Done. Let me execute this. Hello. Right, this is my first record, so I'll give the name as something 7 underscore am so and so. Insert does not exist. I'll just cancel this. Here also I'll say 7 underscore insert record affected. This third record I got, I'll say insert record affected, done. This is my fourth record. Okay, I want to change this, so I'll just change it to something India, done. Insert record affected. Do you want to replace the file? Acha, in our local system already the file is there. Do you want to replace? Yes, hello, done. It has transferred so and so. So if you see my local system, this is my what? File in the local system. Let me go to application server. Yeah, you can see we have the file just now created. What is that file I gave? 7:30 a.m. log.txt. 7:30 a.m. log.txt. This is a file which got created just now. Okay, I'll just double click on this. Yes, same thing. Understood. So we have to open the file. We have to open the file in what? Output mode. And how do you write the data to the file? By using what? Transfer statement. That's it. So we have seen how to write the data to local system file as well as what? Application system file. Any questions? Please ask. Output means for writing purpose. Input means for reading purpose. For reading, we use read data set statement. For writing, we use what? Transfer statement. Any questions? Please ask. So this program covers three things. What is that? What it covers? It covers how to do the error handling in call transaction. That is, how do you generate the log in call transaction? How do you generate? While calling the transaction, you have to use addition what? Message into BDC MSG call internal table, so that all the IDs related to the messages will be captured in this internal table. So how do we extract the message based on the message IDs? Means we have to loop that BDC MSG call internal table. Inside that loop and loop, you have to call the function model format underscore message, which takes the message IDs as input and returns the corresponding message. I am appending that message to my log internal table. Once the log internal table is ready, we can write that log file either to the local system or to the application server file. So we have seen both the things. Done. So what are the things we have seen so far? Direct input method, call transaction method, and session technique. The difference between call transaction method and session technique is call transaction is asynchronous, whereas synchronous is asynchronous. Sorry, whereas session is what? Synchronous. Call transaction is asynchronous. That is, in call transaction, it will not check for any status. Without checking for this, without waiting for the status, it will keep on migrating the records one after the other. But whereas in case of session technique, it will check the status for every record, then only it will process the next record. And in case of session, log is auto generated, In case of call transaction, we have to generate the log manually, and we have seen that particular process. Done? Any questions? Okay, but this is not the approach. So far we are writing the code from top to bottom. Whenever we do the data migration, we have to record so that a program will be auto generated. Then based on that, we can modify the program according to our requirement. So tomorrow onwards, we'll see how to record the transaction, how to edit the programs. Done? And in that only we'll discuss how to do the background processing. So far we are doing the foreground migration. We have to go for a background migration also. Okay, so that part we'll discuss tomorrow. Done? Sure, then. So I'm winding off.